Hi everyone, welcome to Lipstick on a Rig. Today we're going to be making this ultra colorful beanie. So for this project I'm using size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn, and I have a whole bunch of yarn that is scrap yarn left over from other beanies that I'm going to be using. So if you have any scrap yarn lying around, then go ahead and gather up all of it and we're going to use it. And we're also going to be using a size F or 5 crochet hook. And if you haven't already, then please check out the precursor to this video, and that is my How to Crochet a Brim for a Beanie video, and I will link to that in the description. So go ahead and crochet a brim that is 13 stitches deep and roughly 18 inches wide. And I went ahead and connected it like I show you how to do in that video, and then I turned it inside out. And from here, we're going to cut and tie off our yarn if you're going to be switching colors. If not, then you can go ahead and just keep this yarn on your crochet hook. And so from here, make sure that you're working in the side where you have your tails, and what you're going to do is you're going to attach your next color to your crochet hook with a slip knot. And so from here, just go ahead and hold your tail in place like this, and then you're going to yarn over, and then you're going to insert your crochet hook back up underneath that same stitch. Yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and drop 2 loops, then yarn over and drop 2 more. And if your yarn is really loose, you can just kind of tighten it by pulling on your working yarn and your tail until that looks more like a traditional stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 80 total double crochet stitches around our brim, and this double crochet counts as our first stitch. And you might find it helpful to section your brim off into 4 equal parts and just place 20 double crochets in each of those sections. And since we don't have traditional stitches to work in, you're just going to have to place these in the available loops on the edge here, and you want to try to place them as evenly as you can. So I'm just going to place my first couple double crochets so you can see how it works. So go ahead and place 20 double crochets in each of your 4 sections so that you have a total of 80 double crochets at the end of your row. And once you have your 80 double crochets in place, then we're just going to place a slip stitch in the top of our first double crochet, but we're going to yarn over with our next color. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to place a front post stitch around our first stitch and then a back post stitch around our second stitch. And we're going to continue alternating between front and back post stitches for our entire row. So I'm going to quickly show you how to place a front and a back post stitch. And you might find it helpful to hold your current tail in place until you place your first stitch because it can come out. So go ahead and yarn over and then insert your crochet hook from the front to the back and then back around to the front again around the post portion of this stitch. Then yarn over and pull through your post. Yarn over and drop 2 loops, and then yarn over and drop your last 2 loops. And that's how you place a front post stitch. And now we're going to place a back post stitch. So go ahead and yarn over and then insert your crochet hook from the back to the front and then back around to the back again, like this. And that's around the post again. Then yarn over and pull through your post, yarn over and drop 2 loops, and then yarn over and drop your last 2 loops. And that's going to be your pattern for the entire row. Like I said before, just alternate between these front and back post stitches. And when you get to the end of your row, it should look like this. So from here, you're going to place a slip stitch in this first stitch right here, and that is the first stitch of your current color. But we're going to yarn over with our next color. And so from here, we're going to reverse this pattern, which means for every stitch where we had a front post stitch, we will now place a back post stitch. And in every back post stitch, we will now place a front post stitch. And that's going to be our pattern for the entire row. And when you get to the end of your row, it should look like this. So now we're just going to repeat that last row over and over and over again. So you're going to place your slip stitch in the top of your first stitch. You're going to yarn over with your next color, and then you're just going to reverse the stitches. So if you were placing a back post stitch in your previous row, now it will be a front post stitch, and vice versa for your front post stitches. So I went ahead and followed this pattern for 9 rows, so I have a total of 10 rows if you count this first row of double crochets. So to start your decrease, all you're going to want to do is just follow the same pattern that you've been following for the first 7 stitches. So you're just going to reverse these stitches like you've been doing. And once you've placed your first 7 stitches, then I'm going to show you how to decrease this. So basically what we're going to do is we are going to decrease these next 3 stitches into 1. So in our previous row, this was a back post stitch. So now I'm going to turn it into a front post stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, and then I'm going to insert my crochet hook up around the post like that, and yarn over and pull through. Then I'm going to skip this front post stitch altogether, insert my crochet hook up around this post, and yarn over and pull through. And then I'm going to yarn over and drop 3 loops, and then yarn over and drop 2 loops. And that's how we're going to place these decreasing post stitches. Then from here, you're just going to continue to follow that pattern, so your next stitch should be a back post stitch. And just make sure that when you place that decreasing post stitch that you're still reversing the stitch. And this last stitch should end on a decrease. And so when you get to the end of your row, you should have 64 stitches. So from here, you're just going to slip stitch into your first stitch just like before and yarn over with your next color. And the pattern for this next row is going to be to place 5 regular stitches, and then you're going to place your decreasing post stitch. And you're just going to want to repeat that going all the way around your row, and when you get done, you should have a total of 48 stitches. And since the decreasing post stitches are in the back this time, I'm going to show you how to do that. So go ahead and place your 5 post stitches like normal where you're reversing your stitches, and then you're just going to yarn over and then insert your crochet hook from the back around to the front and then back around the back again. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through that post. Then you're going to skip this back post stitch right here in the middle, and you're just going to insert your crochet hook up around this second front post right here and yarn over and pull through that post. Then you're going to yarn over and drop 3 loops and yarn over and drop 2 loops. So that's how you're going to be placing your decreasing post stitches for this row. So now go ahead and follow that pattern going all the way around your row, placing 5 regular post stitches and then a decreasing. And when you get done, you should have a total of 48 post stitches. And the pattern for this row is going to be to place 3 regular stitches, and then you're going to place a decreasing stitch. And you're just going to want to follow that going all the way around your row. And when you get done, you should have 32 stitches. And the pattern for the next row is going to be to place 1 regular stitch and then a decreasing. And you're just going to want to repeat that going all the way around your row. And when you get done, you should have a total of 16 stitches. And the pattern for the next row is just going to be to single crochet 2 stitches together at a time. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So insert your crochet hook up underneath that first stitch and yarn over and pull through. Then insert your crochet hook up underneath that second stitch and yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your crochet hook. So go ahead and repeat that for all the stitches in your row. And now we're going to keep that same color again, and we're just going to repeat that last row of single crocheting 2 stitches together. And then we're just going to slip stitch in a hole on the opposite side of that hole and cut and tie off our yarn. And then I like to take all of these little tails and tie light colors together pretty snug so that there aren't any loose stitches, and then I cut them really short. And in the description I will link to my DIY pom-pom maker. Please let me know in the comments below if you experienced any issues while you were making this, and I will do my best to help you out. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, Lipstick on a Rig. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.